Welcome back to the Three Parallels podcast with your host, the Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we were, we embrace who we are, and we make room for who we're trying to become. On today's show, I got family, baby. And you know, when I got family, we're going to have a good time because we're going to have a good time anyway. We just inviting y'all in. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between, I would like to introduce you to my girl, my sister from another mister. This woman is phenomenal, okay? I'm talking about phenomenal with an F, not a PH. So phenomenal because she does it all. She's done it all. She is a professor. She's an author. She's a motivational speaker. She is a dream liver. She's a dream catcher. She's a destination helper. She is bad. And I'm talking about Michael Jackson's sister, Janet Bad. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the one, the only, Dr. Natalie Williams. Welcome to the show, baby.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was a beautiful introduction. I'll send you a couple dollars for that. Thank you.
Hey, listen, you might be the last person told me they're gonna bring me on the show with them when they go
Yeah.
speak, so I can just introduce and go home. So
Please do. That was phenomenal. I loved every part of it. Thank you.
I
And no
love
lies were told, right? It was all true.
I love it. I love it. All right, so let's dive in because you on a whole nother level, and I'm thankful to have people to experience you because the story, and I didn't share it in the introduction, so I want to share it now because we're talking about three parallels: who we were, who we are becoming. And when you and I both met initially, it's who we were, and that was in 2017, 2018, 2018.
Yep.
And in Ohio. So during this time, I was an intern at Youngstown State University, get my PhD at Auburn, and Dr. Williams was where, when, who? What were you? Who were you at that time?
I think I got accepted into doctoral school, was ending my corporate position, and had given myself a couple months of a break before starting doctoral school, but I was still speaking. So I was on my speaking tour when you and I met.
There it is. There it is. So she's already speaking, and we met at a conference in Akron for Black men, if I'm not mistaken. And I was able to do a workshop, and the love that Dr. Williams gave me for the workshop just let me know, hey, I got something. Because everybody else was just like, oh, that was cool, Dr. Branch. That was this and that. And Dr. Williams was like, nah, bro, hold on, wait a minute. You got me rethinking my whole life because of the information shared. And it was just a genuine organic connection, and we've been connected ever since in a lot of different capacities. And I'm just thankful for this moment, full circle, to be here in the present to share you with everyone. So presently, you just got back from Paris. So let's just start with today, and then we're going to go back, and then we go into the future. So tell us about it.
Paris. Well, I don't even know where do I start. So
what you was doing over there? Like what?
Okay.
What led? Because there's a story. There's a
story. So how about this? I'm going to tell you a story that sounds like it has nothing to do with Paris, but it'll come back together. And whenever I talk like that to my mentor, she always says, it's okay. I speak Natalie. I understand. I always feel so seen and loved when she says that. So the end of last year, I had prayed to God for help on how to steward the season that I was in of my life. Like, God, I want to steward this season well, you know? And that was my prayer. And then I ended up listening to an Iyanla Vanzant podcast. I don't agree with everything that Iyanla says, but there's some stuff that I'm like, she's spot on, because one of the things that she helps you deal with reality. And so I always jokingly say, like, oh, Iyanla gonna get you together, because her show, Iyanla Fix My Life. So I'm like, Iyanla gonna get you together. So I was like, let me listen to this Iyanla podcast to get me together. And on this podcast, she had a guest speaker. And this guest speaker introduced her own self as a professor, a sociologist, and a demographer. A demographer is someone that studies demographics of people. So the guest introduced herself as a professor, a sociologist, and a demographer that studies Black people, their relationships, friends, family, and romantic relationships. I listened to the podcast. It gave me what I needed. It was just a really good podcast. That was the end of last year.
Yeah.
Fast forward to April of this year. Kendrick Lamar had his GNX tour. Anybody that knows me knows that I am a Kendrick girl, which means that I think he's brilliant. I think that he's the greatest rapper of all time for me. You know, like I think his mind is brilliant. I support Kendrick. And so he had the GNX tour. And so I went to the first night of the GNX tour, which is in Minneapolis. I went by myself. I flew in the morning of the show. I got a hotel right across the street from the stadium because it was a stadium tour that Kendrick was on, throwing that in there. And the show started at 7 p.m. Doors opened at 5. I got to the concert 5:30 just to give myself enough time to get some food, get some merch, beat the crowd, not feel flustered or rushed. And I go down to my seat. And 2 seats away from me is this older Black woman who's fabulous. I mean, she had on a tube top, some leather pants, her hair stood back in a bun. And in my head, I'm like, oh, she's fabulous. Like, I need to be like her, you know, in a couple years.
Yeah.
And so I sit down. In my head, I'm like, oh, she's fabulous. Didn't think anything of it. I sit down, and we too few people there because the show is nowhere near starting yet. We're an hour and a half early. And so keep in mind, though, this show was sold out. Keep in mind, this stadium sits 66,000 people.
Wow.
So sitting there, and of course, we sitting there. So she starts conversation, and we're talking, and I mentioned that I'm a professor. She says, really? Me too. I say, really? Because there's this many people in the world with a PhD, let alone this many Black women. So I'm like, really? She said, yeah. Jason, she looked at me and she said, I'm a professor and a sociologist and a demographer.
No.
I study Black people and their relationships, friends, family, and romantic. I looked this woman in her face. I said, ain't no way. Wow. She says, what? I said, ain't no way. She said, is something wrong? I said, hold on. I said, do you have a book that goes with this? And she says, yeah. I said, I think I may have heard you on this podcast last year. She says, really? I said, yeah. I said, you know what? Don't tell me any more about you. Don't tell me. She may have introduced herself with her first name, but I was like, don't tell me anything else. Yeah. I need to figure out if this is you. So I'm trying to think of like, what podcast was this? I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, I don't consume too much content. Like, I'm intentional of the content I consume. So it shouldn't be that hard for me to figure it out. I couldn't think of it. So I pulled my phone out and I started scrolling through the podcast that I've listened to. I looked up and I say, oh my gosh, you're Dr. Chris Marsh. She says, I am. A sold out stadium, 66,000 people. She's sitting 2 seats away from me.
Come on.
She's not even from there. She flew in that morning for the concert too. Jason, I start crying. I literally start bawling. As soon as I tell her who she was and she said, yes, that's me, I start bawling my eyes out. And those tears represented tears of gratitude to God because I'm like, this is a God thing. You can't make this up. I couldn't have orchestrated this. Like, there's something here. And so she and I are both looking at each other like, wait a minute. And she's like, if the only reason that God sent me here for this concert was to meet you, she said, I can go back home right now. I don't even have to see the concert. Like, this is worth it.
Yeah.
And another part of my prayer too was like, God, when I meet new people, like, I don't want to be kind of guarded or closed off. You know, I'm from the South Side of Chicago. So it's like, you meet people, you trying to figure out like, what's your MO? Like, what's up? You know, you friend or foe? Like, what's up?
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be a little bit more open. And so open. So as she and I were talking to have a conversation, I mentioned how I had tickets to see Kendrick as well at the upcoming Chicago show. And she was like, oh, I have tickets to go see Kendrick in Rome. And she was like, I'm taking my best friend and my best friend's mom. And she was like, do you want to go to Rome with us to see Kendrick?
No way. No way.
I'm like, did she just invite me to Rome? And I was like, I'll let you know. And so we had an hour and a half to talk.
Wow.
We had an hour and a half. And we exchanged contact information and we chopped it up. So yeah, that's that. So how about I get back home to Chicago and I'm reading an NPR, National Public Radio, NPR.org article. I read them like 5 times a day. I love to read. Okay. And they're talking about the federal layoffs and how it affected the Black middle class. Who do they cite in this article? Dr. Chris Marsh. I screenshot that. I dropped that in a group chat with my friends, and they were like, "You cannot get away from this woman. There's something there." So I end up sending it to her, and I was like, "Hey, you're in this article," and she was like, "Yeah." She was like, "We did the interview a couple weeks ago," and so then she says, "I had some really cool things happen since last time that you and I met. How about I call you in 5 minutes?" I was like, "All right, cool." So she calls me. And she's like, "Hey, remember after the night of the concert, we both went our separate ways. I went to my hotel, she went to hers, and I texted her. We both were like, hey, just let me know when you make it in." And so she was like, "Hey, I think Kendrick or SZA, I think they could be potentially staying here at this hotel." I don't know if he was thinking.
I need time out. This is so good. This is so good.
And so so when she called me, she's telling me the story, and she says she gets up, she goes to work out at her hotel. Everybody knows that she works out early in the morning. Can I tell you, she's fabulous. Like body goals, okay? Like she takes care of herself. She's 52. Wow. If I showed you a picture of her, you would be like, 52 what? Like
a picture? She gonna be on the show. What are you talking about? She up next.
She's phenomenal. She's phenomenal. And so she's like, yeah. She goes to work out in her hotel. She's working out. Who walks in?
No way.
The greatest rapper alive in his
security.
No
freaking way.
Yep. Greatest rapper alive in his security. And she goes up to them and she's like, "I have to meet him." Security's like, "He takes his workout seriously. No. She's like, "I'm in town from the concert." And she jokingly tells the security, she's like, "Listen, I work out every day. I know I can beat you up." Now, the other security guard, I probably can't take him down. So they're like, "Man, we love your energy." And she's telling them how she has tickets to go see him in Rome, this, that, and the third. And she just had such a good experience that she was like, she ended up not getting to meet him, but they were just very gracious and very nice to her. And so she made the decision of like, I want to go to a couple more shows. And so she decided to go to a couple more shows. And with that, she was like, "How about we turn this into a research project? How about we look at how we look at concerts and community?" And so looking at that, and she's like, "Would you want to be on this project with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so she decided to go to more concerts of the Kendrick tour. And instead of going to Rome with her, it worked out better for she and I to go to Paris. And we went to 2 nights of Kendrick show in Paris.
And y'all have known each other, what, a month now, if that?
When we went to Paris, we had known each other barely 3 months.
That's insane.
Barely 3 months. We got our own separate, of course, hotel rooms in Paris.
Yeah.
But she's become like a mentor to me, and I've learned a lot from her and just how she maneuvers and handles things, right? Like certain things that like came up in conversation when we were in Paris about like stewarding finances, which is something I'm really big on. Just some of the goals that I have for myself are things that she's been there, done that, got the t-shirt to prove it. And it came up in conversation in Paris, not in a braggadocious type of way, but in just like, hey, this is what I got going on. Yeah. And her spirit is so bubbly and just so beautiful and just so like, it feels like untainted by the world. And again, I'm learning from just who she is and how she maneuvers. And yeah. Okay. And there's some more international trips, that we have planned. And so
so Paris was everything if y'all got more trips planned.
Yes, Paris was great. So, oh my goodness. So I got there the day before her and slept because I didn't sleep on the plane, and the time difference was whooping my behind.
Yes, Lord. Yes, indeed.
But, yes. The next day she gets there, we go for breakfast, and she's like, "You want to go for a walk?" So our hotel, both of our rooms, I think she's like a couple floors above me, both our rooms had a view of the Eiffel Tower, but the Eiffel Tower was like ways away, right?
Yeah.
She's like, "Let's go for a little walk." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So we go for a little walk, and we go. And then she's like, "Let's go to the Eiffel Tower." Do you know we walked an hour and a half to the Eiffel Tower?
Oh my God.
We walked an hour and a half to the Eiffel Tower. After the Eiffel Tower, we had dinner and we Ubered back. But we walked an hour and a half to the Eiffel Tower.
This is next level.
She is so in shape that it was a couple moments where I had to tell her, like, Dr. Marsh, slow down.
Dang.
I'm like, I'm trying to keep up.
Don't she got like 20 years on you?
Yeah, literally, she is 20 years older than me, and like takes very good care of herself. And that's something that's important to me. I actually went to the gym this morning, and my legs feel like noodles. Yeah. But again, just learning. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for that. And it was just such a thing of serendipity where you can't make that up. And that has been the story of my life. I have so many serendipitous moments. And I actually talk about that in my book.
Yes, indeed. Come on now.
For
those who can't see, can you tell us about this book?
So the book is called Interview, but it's a play on the word interview. So the book is called Interview, INNER. Interview lessons in leadership. And so the book looks at how we can reflect on our moments and our experiences in life in order to find our places of impact. And those places of impact are the things that help us live a full life. Similar to how the previous guest that you had on here, where you talked about the 3-hour eulogy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he had locks. Did he have locks? Yeah, he does like improv. He was talking about like living a full life. And finding the things that not only make you happy, but the things that bring you joy and allow you to make impact simultaneously. And so in the book, I look at my experiences, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the traumatic, and I share those things in the book, and I share how those things have all come together to allow me to find my places of impact as a communicator, but as a multifaceted communicator. So communication as far as being a professor, a communicator being on the stage as a speaker, a communicator through writing books, and a communicator through me being a mentor and having mentees. And all of my experiences came together to help shape me, but also to help kind of give me that nudge of like, this is what you're supposed to do. On top of me being an introvert. And so with me being an introvert, a little bit of a loner at times, that personality trait did not stop me from being effective and being impactful. So I remember I spoke at Howard University one time in front of 600 people, 625 people. And in my head, I'm like, are you serious? Like, this girl that is a huge introvert is up here on the stage, but that shows how purpose work oftentimes pushes you out of some of those boxes that we kind of put ourselves in just because that's just how I am or who I am. But when it's really about you touching lives and changing lives, you got to bypass all of that in order to do what you know that you were called to do. And so that's the book. I'm very proud of the book. I am working on book number 2, and I'm really excited about that book as well. But I'm also going to allow it to happen organically, and I'm not going to just, force it out or just push it out just because. But I really want to take my time with it, and I want it to flow just as much as the first book did.
Oh, wait, here.
This book is my baby. Like, this book is my baby. I take this book everywhere with me. This book has seen the Great Pyramids. This book has met the Eiffel Tower. This book has been to Paris. This book has been to 4 Kendrick shows. Like, this book.
Wow.
This book has been to NBA games. Like, I call them field trips. So I take this book with me, and it's just my way of taking purpose everywhere I go.
Oh man, that's so powerful. Taking purpose everywhere you go. My goodness, that is beautiful. And that speaks to who you are. Like, you are full of purpose. Yeah. Everything you do is intentional. I just want to talk about you for a minute, if you don't mind, a few hours.
Okay. No, I can sit in there. I can sit in
there. So I want to talk about you for a minute, because all of this, like you said, the backstory to the front story, everything comes together. I need you to see you, because I don't know if you see your greatness in this capacity. Like, you see it, but it's a little foggy, in my humble opinion, because you attracted your destination helper.
Ooh.
And Dr. Chris Marsh. You attracted that. Let me show you how. because what you did to connect with her is something that we as people don't do. Let's start from the beginning. And I just want to pick up what you shared. Number one, I got an artist, favorite, greatest of all time. You don't even have to say to you, okay? Because that's for somebody else. I just want to give you that nugget. Greatest to me, that's for somebody else. Fuck you. Oh, this is my show. We cuss on here. Fuck you. Kendrick's the greatest ever. Period. Why? Because I fucking said so. I want to give you that. Whatever you want to do with that, you can do that. So, number one, not only did you go see the greatest artist of all time, you went by yourself. People don't do that. There's people right now to this day, grown as shit. I'm talking about rusty grown. Never been to the movie by themselves, never went to dinner by themselves, never went to lunch by themselves. They damn sure not finna go to a concert with 66,000 people in the building by themselves and not worried about nothing but themselves and got their baby with them. Purpose. I'm at the concert with I just need you to see you for a moment. I'm at the concert with Purpose an hour and a half early because I'm not rushing for nothing. I'm getting all what I need before everybody and their mama show up late and unorganized and drunk and everything, drunk, high and everything else. You didn't do that. You showed up intentionally and ready, open to receive, and you sat next to a destination helper who has 20 years on you, who's living a life that you're living now. She let you know, hey, girl, this is what we do over here. So that guiding light, that's what I mean by a destination helper. My belief, and this came from a really good friend of mine. She's the one introduced me to destination helper, Desiree Greenwood, straight out the backwoods, Alabama, right? She talked about, we have a relationship, talk about God and religion and the church and law of attraction and the universe. Like we talk about all those things. And she mentioned the term destination helper. And the destination helper is God, universe, whatever you believe or don't believe. I'm going to say God. God places people in your life when you're able to accept what they have to offer. You do not meet them until you're ready for them because they're helping you get to where you're supposed to go. You connecting with Dr. Chris Marsh, the podcast episode with Ayana Van Zant was a breadcrumb. That breadcrumb you turned into a pebble in the pond that created a ripple. You were just living life intentional. You had no idea that she was coming, but she started chasing you the moment you knew I need more. I just need you to see you just for a minute.
Yeah.
And when you sat down and you getting the information, you even prevented yourself from doing what your old self may have done. Fanned out, where you at? Girl, what you know, blah, blah, blah. You didn't do that. Hold on. Let me take care of me. I just need you to see you. You had the boundary. I'm not finna fan out. I'm grown now. I'm good. I'm Dr. Williams. Hold on. I got mine too. And you made space for both of you, and she gave you her because you gave of yourself. And that's not the norm. Again, I just want you to see it. You talked about, I'm working on building and collecting. Being an introvert, I'm allowing myself to be an introverted extrovert or extroverted introvert. So you chose to do something different, and look what happened because of it. And you were open. Hey, we finna go to Rome. You didn't say, I ain't finna, Thursday, I gotta go to work. You didn't do none of that. You said, hold on, give me some time to process, is what you said, which means that's a boundary. You didn't say no, you didn't say yes. I just need you to see you. These moments and the things that I'm sharing, South side of Chicago, come on. I don't know everybody. I don't trust everybody. But let me at least give this person an opportunity. I need you to see that. And regardless of what was going on at the concert, because we didn't dive into that because we could, the moment, the experience, what was happening in real time for an hour and a half. I hope you noticed the difference. Hour and a half at that concert, hour and a half in Paris. Not a coincidence. Let's go. It's because of you. It's because of you. I need you to see that.
Yeah.
You were prepared. You were open. You had open arms. Your mindset was open. You were just in a space to receive, and that's exactly what you got, and some. So I want to take a pause, and I would love to get your thoughts about these flowers you just received.
Yes, I received them. And I think that what you were saying, it was so true. It was dynamic, and yeah, it's very confirming. And so I was taking notes as you were talking. That's the geek and the professor in me.
I'm with it. I do the same thing. What you think I got over here? Okay.
When you were talking about destination helpers, that it ties into something else, another concept that I've really been sitting with, that I read in an article on a Substack, and it talked about lighthouses and how lighthouses, they're like the big poles that are in the water. And it talked about how our lives are, and I'm probably going to touch on this in book number 2, but how our lives are filled with people that are lighthouses. And what a lighthouse does is it illuminates in the dark. And so when you're swimming or you're traveling in these waters and it's dark, think about it. It's scary. It doesn't include if the wind is going and the waters are choppy. A lighthouse lets you know where safety is. A lighthouse lets you know you're not too far from the shore. A lighthouse shines even in the dark. A lighthouse attracts you to stability, like all of these great things that a lighthouse does. And so when you talk about a destination helper, it brought back up that whole thing of a lighthouse. And I remember sharing that concept of a lighthouse with one of my close friends a couple months ago, and she got really emotional because I told her, I was like, thank you for being one of my lighthouses.
Come on.
She was like, oh. And I was like, no, I appreciate that. Like, you are someone that I consider to be a lighthouse. And so when you're talking about a destination helper, there's some similarities with that in a lighthouse, but with the destination helper, I feel like I've had so many of those moments in my life that my heart is always open to that. I just have so much gratitude. Like that is, I could give you multiple stories of having these destination helpers. And with your audience, I also want to let them know that sometimes when you encounter these destination helpers, you may forge these long-term relationships with them, or it may be a short-term relationship. It could just be in the moment you have a conversation with them, and that conversation turns the light bulb on, flips a switch, and gives you what you need in that moment. And you all could never cross paths ever again. And so don't always think that, those destination helpers have to be people that sometimes journey the entire journey with you. They may just be somebody that's at the rest stop, figuratively, as you're on your journey. You may have a conversation and you're like, I needed that. There's something special there. That's something that I can eat on for years. And you turn around and the person has evaporated, like you can
That's
have
real
these experiences.
That's real. That's so real. So I appreciate you sharing this and tapping into the listeners, because for all of you that's listening and paying attention to this is what real life looks like. This is what becoming a gator looks like. This is what investing in yourself and choosing to do different than what you may have been taught, told, or grew up around. Because this, to me, it steps outside of the culture to create a new culture. And I want to talk about this for a minute, because what you've done, I want people to hear how you did it. So the biggest thing to me with this Kendrick concert, to me, just because I work with people all the time, and one of the biggest fears that people have is doing things by themselves, doing things alone. And to me, to go to a Kendrick concert, period, is an experience. To go to a Kendrick concert by yourself and know that you're going to have the greatest time of your life, because you have the greatest rapper of all time here, and you have seats, you have tickets, you're ready. I'm curious to know, because I don't know if this has always been you, but what did you do to become this version of yourself, to stop worrying about what people think, what people feel about you and how you choose to live life, to go to a concert by yourself, to have a great time, to have a great experience. On top of that, to have the healthy boundaries of, I'm not finna rush, I'm gonna have dinner, I'm gonna relax. Like you said, I wish I was there. Like, I wish I was with you, because you set it up for you, and it was curated specifically how you wanted it to be. Most people, in my humble opinion, cannot do that because they're so worried about everybody else and their mama and their mama's mama. How the hell did you do it? Give us a scoop. Give us a master class on this.
So I'm not the only child, but I grew up as the only child because my brother is so much older than me. So pretty much grew up as the only child. So you spend a lot of time by yourself, just organically. Like you have cousins and stuff, but it's different from when people come by for a weekend every now and then versus, like that. There's a difference between the here and there visits with your cousins and you just everyday life. So I'm not afraid to do things by myself because I spent a lot of time by myself growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
So that's not a fear of mine, thankfully. And you talk about, the trip was personally curated and, it was a slow motion type of trip. I wasn't always that way. I was not always a slow motion girl. I spent probably, let's say, the start of high school all the way up until, excuse me, a few years after graduating with my PhD. I spent that entire year of like moving fast, getting stuff done. I have to accomplish this. I have to accomplish this. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm moving here. I'm moving there. And it got to a point where by the time I got up to doctoral school, I was like burning out. Like I was burning out. The world was on fire. I'm in doctoral school full time. I'm also teaching while in doctoral school. I am also traveling the country to speak. And when I was traveling the country to speak, I was 2 hours away from the nearest major airport.
Wow.
So I'm doing that. I am working on my book, all of those things. And like, and a doctoral program requires 100% of you. Yes. Even when life knocks you down to 10%, the program is like, I'm sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. Run me my 100%.
Come on.
Now I need 110.
All day.
Inflation. And I burnt myself out. And I was doing all of that I wasn't even really able to fully enjoy myself socially of where I was. I remember I called you one time when I was in doctoral school and I felt like the sky is falling and I needed some advice of how do I do this and how do I do that? And you were like, you got to get out the house. Like,
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
That's something I will never forget. And after we get done recording, I'll fill you in more on that. But yeah, and that is something that sticks with me. So now once I've graduated, I made that promise to myself because once I graduated, I also took a little bit of a sabbatical where I would go for daily walks. I've always been a person that would journal. I would go and like sit at this park by my place and just like have a little picnic and take a blanket and like lay out there on my blanket and let the sun just do its thing on my skin. And
love it.
I had to really figure out what does it feel like to hit the pause button and to rest. Because when I think about what I've learned a lot in church, I realized I didn't really learn as much about rest and the importance of it, and even when and I'm not bashing church by any means, but like, even when you look at the Bible, Jesus did all these things. He knew he was on a timeline, but he wasn't running from place to place. He was taking his time.
Yes.
He would go and sit, Yeah. And he would rest, even in the midst of pure chaos. The boat is all but turned over on his side, and he's asleep.
I'm taking a nap, boo. I ain't worried about these troubled waters. I'm not worried.
And he wasn't afraid to rest. And so for me, I really had to lean into that. I come from a family of women that they're here, there, everywhere, for everybody else. And I'm like, yo, where's the rest in this?
That's
you know what I mean? And we celebrate people for the big accomplishments, which is great. And accomplishments are worthy of celebration. But do we also celebrate people for rest? And I heard somebody say this quote, and that was all I needed to hear. They said, there's no award for the most burnt out woman of the year.
Oh,
and if it is, do you want that award?
It come with anxiety, depression, suicide ideation.
They said, do you want that award? And I'm like, no. And I also have a super amazing, great therapist where I get to talk about where I'm at and what my pace looks like. And does this current pace work for me? And so just really checking in with myself to say, what do you want? What do you need? Do you need to kind of recalibrate things? And so I love a slow life. I love a slow life. I wake up early most mornings, but I wake up early. I take my time getting ready. I move around in the morning at a snail's pace to give myself enough time to start my day feeling refreshed and not feeling rushed of, I got to do this, I got to do that. I've lived that life and I no longer want to live that life because it no longer works for me. And so
Ooh,
a long answer to a short question is I had to learn, I had to trial and error. I had to learn by trial and error, and a slow pace works for me. Not only a slow pace, a slow, peaceful place.
We got to talk about it. We're gonna go in the basement. Okay. So on the show, for the new people, for the newbies, for my vets, you already know the deal. What you shared is a lot of layers. And one of the layers is the deepest layer I want to go in the basement to tap into, because you were able to break a generational curse, in my humble opinion. Several of them, actually. Number one, religion. You know, what, like you said, yeah, it's talked about rest, but I've never heard a pastor on any, and I grew up Southern Baptist, I've never heard any sermon around rest, even though it was in the Bible. I never heard that.
Wait, I'm gonna cut you off. Or it personified, right? Like,
come on. Absolutely. So that's the religious piece. That's a culture. Them black women in the family, head of the house, you know, running very what's the word I'm looking for? Big personalities, women, black women in the home. So you're learning from auntie now, mama now. This is what we do as black women. So working at a very high level, burning yourself out, you overcame all these really big cultural dynamics that kills us slowly and we don't know it. Erin said this, another guest that was on the show a few weeks back. Erin mentioned this. She told me this and it changed my whole life. She said, why are we rushing? Why are we having angst and stress and trying to get to the next thing? Like, why are you rushing everything in life? We're speeding up and more concerned about the finish line than the journey, more concerned about the destination than the journey to get there. And she said, if you really think about it, she slapped me in the head with a honey bun. This thing is temporary. We all are going to leave this earth at one point in time. We don't know when. We know when we're born. We don't know when it ends. So why are you rushing to die? Ooh. And that hit me hard, which that's what triggered me to slow down. So you found what triggered you to slow down. And your life is, like you said, is peaceful, it's slow. There's gratitude, there's time. And the other culture that you broke is moving away from the grind culture and moving into the magnetic culture. So instead of grinding, because when you grind, you have an entity and another entity, you put them together and you create magic from that. It's magic dust that'll kill you. So that's the grind culture. What you did was, that was good. I did it. It was cool. I'm nubbed up. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with that. Let me be a magnet and attract the people, places, and things I'm supposed to have based off of this version of me now. I need you to see that. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that's so spot on. That's so spot on. And as you're saying these things, I'm taking it in and I receive it. I mean, I never forget. I graduated with my PhD and I went to a birthday party for a friend, family friend. And one of the people there at the party was like, "So what's next for you?" I said, "Nothing. Not doing anything. I'm not running to the next accomplishment. Nothing."
Yes.
So, like, no, I'm like, my foot has barely left the graduation stage, and you're asking me what's next? Nothing.
Yes.
That's so good to say, and I think that it's just important to be willing to learn. And for me, I always make the joke that I'm a geek, and that's my way of saying I love to learn. I love to read. But part of the learning doesn't always have to come from a classroom. Sometimes it has to come from experiences, whether they are yours or that from other people. And again, I learned that the way that I was maneuvering in the past, maybe I was graced for it.
Yeah.
I did that. But now I want life to look different, you know, and it does.
So let me ask, what did you notice? And this is for the listeners. For y'all listening, listen, number one, get your Gator Scales journal. Okay. Go pick it up. It's on Amazon right now. Go get it and start putting these gems and these jewels down. Cause every guest on here is dropping gems. Why? Because they connect to me. And I be talking the most shit. So you know they gonna talk it. So Dr. Williams is here talking mad shit. I hope you're picking it up. I'm curious to know the outcome of two worlds that you lived in. And you're growing in this new space of being that magnet, being that lighthouse, attracting destination helpers, versus that grind that you were on. what's the outcome that you notice the differences between these two worlds? Because you live in both of them. You've lived both of them.
This is probably the healthiest I've ever been. This is the healthiest physically I've ever been. This is probably the lowest weight I probably have had probably since I don't think I was this small in high school.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, like me being able to not eat my feelings.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
From being overwhelmed.
Dr. Williams, listen now. You've been watching this show. You've been listening. Folks get kicked off for giving too much good shit. For giving too much. I kicked you out of here. I'm gonna get you off of here. Wait a minute. Go back. Go back. Go back. Because you finna go. You finna get a pink slip. I'm finna kick you out. I need you to go back because you said something, in my opinion, that tackles majority of us. And I say majority of us because I don't know any human that's alive today that's not eating something. You have to. And when you mention eating feelings, that's us. If I don't have the emotional intelligence to know how to manage my emotions, so I feed them. So if you could tell us before, during, after, and big shout out to your damn therapist, because I'm sure they played a part in some of this. I could be wrong. But I would love for you to share that journey, who you were, who you are, you're becoming, related to your relationship with food and emotion and how you were able to change that.
Yeah, I was I was eating my feelings. You know how like the trend now, people jokingly say, "Oh, something to take the edge off."
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll show themselves with whatever, saying, "Oh,
a little wing and a little wing on the side of it. They got a wing. They got a cigarette. They got a flat, a drum.
And they'll hold it like it's a cigarette, right?
Yeah. We gonna have to. I'm gonna see if I can get a thumbnail for that one. Something to take the edge out. It might be your book.
And so
it might be your book with these two things.
Yeah, food. But also too, I didn't know that like I was gluten intolerant. So gluten is like stuff that's in flour. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. So I would like, I was a bread girl, love me some bread, some sweets, all of that stuff, eating that, and like my body would physically swell. Like my joints would physically swell. It was one day that I couldn't bend my knee. Like I was in the kitchen and went to get like a pot or a pan under the sink, and like it felt like my knee was like, it felt like I was trying to bend a hard noodle.
Wow.
So that had attributed to part of the weight gain, but I was eating whatever, whenever. And, that was who I was. And I knew I was like, I have to do better. Like, I don't want this to be my life. And I was like, let me look for books that talk about this, and I got to read through some books and understand that there's a better life, there's a better alternative. And I started to walk more so towards a disciplined life. And once I cut my stress down, because when I was in doctoral school, that was like my highest weight ever. Like I think between now and then, it was probably like a 40-pound difference. So much so that at first I was like, don't laugh when I say this. At first I was like, I need to go check out what's wrong with the washer and the dryer. Maybe it's the dryer, because my clothes, it's shrinking my clothes. And I'm like, okay, maybe one piece of clothes may have shrink. But everything's shrinking, honey. It's you. It's you. The dryer is
so good. It's so good.
And I was like, okay, you got to get it together. Yeah. And I did. And I did. And so me graduating figuratively and literally from like that high stress life, I started to include more physical activity. I took gluten out of my diet. And once I took gluten out of my diet, like the weight was just like, falling off, but just eating more healthier, including more food, romanticizing my life. So like when I'm cooking, I'll put on some music and I'll dance around the house. I'll dance around the kitchen. I'll have a full-blown concert. I may not sound like Jasmine Sullivan, but when I'm cooking, you can't tell me that I'm not her. So like, that's what I'm talking about. Making it fun, and then also having accountability. Yeah. And just knowing what I need. So when I go to the gym now, I have the most fire gym playlist in the whole world.
Okay.
And I know what each type of song means. So I have 3 songs that start off with soft R&B. I know that's me stretching and me preparing myself. After that third R&B song, it goes right into some hardcore Young Jeezy.
Okay.
And then it's gonna give me a whole lot of rap in the middle. And then after that last rap song, it's gonna go back to soft R&B, which is my signal for me. I'm done with the weights. Yeah. Let me go ahead and finish. Let me do some cooling down with some stretching, and that's it. So like, what do I want life to look like? What do I want my clothes to fit like? What do I want my body to look like? Most mornings I'll get up, I'll do 2 miles, I'll go 2 miles with a brisk walk or a little run, 2 miles with a 12-pound weighted vest.
Wow. You out here getting it. You out here getting it. And what's so amazing about this, thank you for sharing all of this, the before, during, after, who you were, who you are becoming. For those in the doc program, y'all heard it here first. I'm a card carrying member as well of that club of the extra 40 pounds through a doc program, but I got it off and still working on it. That's a real thing because of the stress, and we don't know what we're doing, and we're figuring it out as we go. And we don't have people that's guiding us. And most PhD programs, especially if you're a person of color, specifically Black person in the PhD program, is predominantly white. And there are rules to the game, and you don't get the rule book. So you're dealing with all of these things on top of all of the things, and nobody's telling you about any of this. So I'm thankful for your journey and you sharing your journey, helping somebody right now in real time in the doc program listen to this podcast, shedding grown woman, grown man tears. I need you to know that right now. So your transition, your transformation is because you decided to put you first.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, I need y'all to see this in real time. Dr. Williams became Dr. Williams because she got the hell out the way of her old self. And now she's her better self. I'm talking about capital H-E-R, not the R&B singer with the guitar. Okay. She is on that level, which allow her to track all these things. And I want to highlight something. This destination helper that was brought to your life, that you attracted, Dr. Chris Marsh, who will be on the show, has 20 years on you, which means as long as she in your life, you can see 20 years ahead.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't ready for
that?
You're
putting me out? You're putting me out for dropping that? Can you say that again? That is.
So imagine your big sis. Imagine her, capital H-E-R, like the woman you're trying to become. You physically have a person with you right now that's mentoring you, that's guiding you, that's pouring into you, that's teaching you, that's showing you, hey, this is how you can live life. You got, Natalie, you got 20 years head start. This your girl, this your dog now. You were a fan. You heard her on a show. Now you can pick up the phone and call her. I need you to see the access. When you begin investing in yourself, it allows you access to people, places, and things you couldn't have before. Here's an example. Everybody ain't got LeBron's number, but anybody that do, everybody know if you got it, right? But you don't got the number, you don't have access. And if I don't have access, I can't experience certain things. So some people live their entire life without experiencing certain things and they die. You are experiencing so much life, and it's going to be even more because of who you're connected to, which means you have access. Now you gave me access. Me talking shit, saying she's going to be on the show is because I have access to you. You have access to her. I don't know this woman, but you do. She don't know me, but you do. And she going to be on the show because of you. Yeah. I'm speaking it now. Nobody knows this. She don't even know. She don't even know yet. But once your episode drops, her episode's going to be the next one. When, where, how, why, that ain't none of my business. But I just curated this because we're organically curating an experience together in real time on this podcast. You think this is accidental? Think this is games? No, this is the intention. This is what I'm placed here for. This is what you're placed here for. And we know it. And I want to connect one more dot. Your ability to navigate life by yourself comes from your upbringing. Although you weren't an only child, you lived life as such. That's what connected me and you in Akron 2018. I am an only child. I do everything alone until I got married. Then I'm like, what is this? Oh, we supposed to do this together? Oh, my bad. I ain't know. I've been only child my whole life. Mia is a twin. She do everything with somebody.
I didn't know your wife was a twin.
Yes, indeed. Everything together. So we polar opposites. So she like, yeah, we from early in the morning. We talking to her. I don't talk in the morning. I don't use words till noon. You know, being single, you wouldn't hear a word from me till about noon. You know the life. You were there. And then, I mean, I could talk from noon to about 6, 7, then 8 to 2. Hush. I just was talking about you and I. I just want to talk about only children. Okay. There's no coincidences. So before we get out of here, because we got to close it up, we can do this all day. As you know, I got a couple questions to make sure we get what we need before we get out of here beyond what you already gave. 3 parallels, who we were, who we are becoming. If you were to describe 3 versions of you, you know, who you were, your old self, you can use one word, you can phrase, whatever. Current self, future self, what would that be? That's the first question. And I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but I know you can handle it. Second question, I'm curious to know, you have lived a phenomenal life and you still here. Like you ain't going nowhere no time soon. What have you learned about yourself and what have you learned about other people? So put that on your plate. What you got?
This is a tough question. This is a tough question. And you must have been like,
Yep.
you must have been peeking in because you know, people, it was like a trend a couple months ago. People were saying, like, oh, I had dinner, or I had coffee with my younger self.
Yes. Yes.
And I thought about that. I thought about that. And I said, literally, this is like 2 nights ago, like 2 o'clock in the morning, I couldn't sleep. I thought about this. And I said, if I had coffee with my younger self, I was imagining what that would look like. And then I said, wait a minute, which version of my younger self would it have been? Would it have been the version of my younger self that had not lost my mom yet? Or would it have been the version of my younger self that had just lost my mom? Because I said there's 2 different versions of me. And so when we talk about that, if it was the version of me before I lost my mom, I would have been trying to warn her, like, sis, the bottom is about to fall out, but you'll be okay. Years from now, you'll be okay. If it was the younger version right after, I would have hugged her and been like, it's okay, you're gonna be okay. So when you talk about that, it's like 2 different versions of my younger self. So if I had to describe the version before it was my mom, younger version, it would be just living. Life was well curated, living. If it was the younger version after losing her, it would have been fast tracked. Like I've always been a mature person. I've always been the younger person hanging out with the older people.
Yeah.
But it was like my maturity was like completely fast tracked after that. So I would have said living and then fast tracked for the past. The current person, just I'm growing. I'm constantly growing and evolving, and I see the evolution, and I'm very proud of that. And then my future self is just unshakable.
Ooh, come on. Yeah, come on. I love it. I love it. So for the sake of time, I'm gonna close out those other questions, and I want to close with 2 things. One is life work. What's something that you want to offer to the audience, to the listeners, that will give them the opportunity to pivot, whatever that is. And then the second part, how can people connect with you? Those who want to reach out, give you some more flowers, go to Paris with you, get your book. And also to the listener, this is happening in real time. We're going to figure out the details. But because you're listening to this show, I'm going to hook you up with a discount on Dr. Williams' book. So for the Gators out here, we're going to get a discount. We're going to do some affiliate links. We're going to do something. So I want everybody to get a book. Okay. If you listen to this, get a book, and you're not going to pay full price because I'm going to see to it that you don't. And you have access to the author. So if you could share what you got for us.
Yeah. What was that first? What was the first question? You gave me 2.
First question, life work. What do you want to offer to the listeners for them to consider pivoting? I mean, one of the easiest ones for everybody listening, do something by yourself you've never done, such as a concert with 66,000 people. That's next level, okay? Or go to a restaurant with 6 people at the bar and you be the 7th. Just do something you've never done. So what's yours?
They can go to an event, I'm giving them advice on what to do.
Yes.
Oh, they can go to an event by yourself. You can go to Eventbrite, right? Where it shows you all the events. You can find some events on there and just go by yourself. Go with no expectations. Don't be attached, to the outcome. But go and you can even give yourself the goal of having a worthwhile conversation with at least one person.
Done.
And so that's now forcing you to not be a wallflower, to not sit in a corner, like go to an event that you know that you can almost guarantee that you'll have a good time and it matches your vibe. So, you may not be a person that go to an event with 66,000 people, but that there's an event going on that may have 600 people, 66 people, 6 people, right? So find an event that's more of your speed and go and give yourself the goal or the task of talking to at least just one person and having meaningful conversation. And then once you are done with that event, debrief with yourself of what did you learn? What did you do? How did it make you feel? Would you do that again? And if you go again next time, what would you do differently? So that would be my advice, my advice to the listeners. And if there's anything that you may be going through as a person, don't be afraid to find some books that can help you better understand it, that those books can be written by people that have came, they saw, and they conquered whatever it is that you are facing. And so they're able to kind of give you those words of wisdom, and they're able to also be your destination helper, whether they know it or not.
Let's go. So how can people reach out? We got like a minute left.
Absolutely. They can reach out on so Instagram, Nat Will Speak, and my website, natwillspeak.com, and they can get my email through the website as well.
Perfecto. Thank you. I hate to rush at the last, but we going from one thing to the next. Y'all know how it go. Thank you so much for being on the show. You are a gem. You are a gift. You are a jewel. I'm thankful for our friendship. I'm thankful for our connection. We've been holding it down since 2017, 2018, and we're only going to get better because now we're partnering up to do some amazing things together, and it's not coincidental. So thank you. Here are your flowers. You are living life authentically. You are living life on your own terms. You're living life based off of a life you curated, and you're living it. This is evidence, you all, that you can live the life that you want to live once you decide who is important. My final challenge for you, Dr. Williams, those 2 questions or conversations you had about the coffee chat with different versions of you, there's an opportunity that was just landed on your lap to have those conversations when you're ready, because they need to hear from you. That is it. That is all. Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, rebuttal? Anything?
That's good.
Okay. That's good.
Amen.
Amen. This has been another episode of 3 Parallels Podcast with your host, the Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we were, we embrace who we are, and we make room for who we're trying to become. If this episode, which I know it is, a blessing for you, share it. Give it away. Don't keep it to yourself. And I'm building community, y'all. Buckle up, buttercup. Start saving some coins, because I'm building a community and it's a membership base. So save your bread. But if you're enjoying this podcast, this membership is going to be an incubator of greatness, of people doing great things by being themselves. That is it. That is all. Have a great day. Good night.